Hello everyone, welcome to Daisy Case Primitives. Today is March 31st, 2025 already, and I thought that I would record a video to show you what I've been stitching lately and most of my past spring finishes, because I have several, and I dug out all the patterns that I could find for what I've done, most of them. Some I don't have pattern covers for because they were PDFs. But so I have past finishes, fully finishes, whips, my market purchases, just a big pile of things. So anyway, I hope everybody's doing well and enjoying your springtime stitching and getting all of your market purchases. Market this year for me was, I did something different that I normally do. I made pre-orders and I've never done that before, but that was fun. And this year's market was really exciting for me. I found a lot of things. I purchased a few things, but I don't know. This one just really piqued my interest this year. So, excuse me, to get that out of the way, I'll just show you what I chose. I picked out Birdsong Berries by Erica Michaels. I saw this as she was doing her market release videos and saw the models that she stitched, and they were just so sweet. I've never stitched a strawberry, but I don't think they'd be too difficult to finish. So I'm hoping to get started on these. These will be fun. Our family pretty much grew up interested in birds. Our granddad always had a bird feeder outside their big picture window at the lake, and he taught us all the names of the birds and to recognize their songs. I don't remember their songs very well, but I do know quite a few of the birds. So this reminded me of my granddad, and thought those would be sweet to stitch, so I really like those. Okay, where did the other one of those go? Okay, here it is. I got Spring Sampler Fragment by Shakespeare's Peddler, Teresa Vanette. I really like this. I didn't realize that she was going to do this in a series. Maybe I should have paid more attention, but I subscribe to the Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine, which is a wonderful magazine full of lots of projects that are really great. This one was in the summer 2024. This was what Teresa submitted for that issue as the project. So this is where I guess it began, where she's taking sections or fragments out of samplers to make it look that way anyhow. I'm not sure if these are from from antique samplers or not. I've not read up. Not done my homework very well. Anyway, so I did like this. I had pulled it from the magazine to stitch it, and I've got in here a couple of fabrics that I pulled also. So this is kind of the companion piece to that. This would be the second one. So I wanted to get that because I really like that look. And I'm not sure how many more she's going to do. But the fabrics I pulled to possibly use in the future would be 36 count granite. And I'm sorry, I don't know who the dyer is. Or I have this 40 count Fossil by Fox and Rabbit. And I'm thinking this will be the one that I use. So here are the two the 2 pieces that I pulled out to possibly choose to stitch that. I'm thinking granite looks more like the models. So that was another market purchase. And loved this Liberty with Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. Beautiful. I just saw somebody that finished this. Several are stitching and have finished. So I bought that. And let's see, I've got a couple of the flosses pulled and a floss ring to go with it. And then I absolutely love everything that Needlework Press publishes. And I chose Janet A. Buckley. I love that. Sweet size little sampler. Let's see, how big will it be? On 36 count, the model was stitched on 36 count Fox and Rabbit hog bristle, and it will end up being about 11 1/4 by 10 inches. So that's very doable. That was another one. And then my most favorite one so far was from Twin Peak Primitives, the Quirky Fractors 2025. I wonder, since they put a year on it, if they maybe are going to do more. But I thought these looked very Americana colors, red, white, and blue, especially that birdie there. And they look kind of colonial, so I thought they would be something different to add to my patriotic Americana summer decor. Here's another picture of what they all look like. Let's get a little closer. So they look really colonial-ish to me. So that was really, let's see, really the next thing I'll show you is I added a new little house to the neighborhood. Right now I'm displaying all of my little salt box houses in this really cool old basket tray. And I have them all in here because I needed something larger to place them in. So there's all the Pinker and Pumpkin salt box houses that I have stitched. And I display them in this basket on the bottom shelf of a little table at the head of my stairs. And the most recent new addition is U-House. So sweet. This one I chose to stitch to kind of look more, would be like my March or, sorry, the hair is driving me crazy today. March St. Patrick's, because the house is green and there's shamrocks growing out of that vase. But I really love the little row of all of those sheep. They're just so sweet. I love how this finished. I'm stitching all of these on, I think this one ended up being on a 40 count because it was a little bit snugger and I liked it. I kind of like how the stitches look. I'm stitching all of these on Vintage Country Mocha, and I rotate. Some I may stitch on the plain side of that fabric or flip it to the printed side. This one, I think it was on the model print side, and I used this reproduction fabric for the backing, and I really love how that turned out. This is available on Melissa's Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting blog. She has all sorts of free charts there that you can choose from, all free, and a wonderful, beautiful person and designer. That was a fully finish, my recent fully finish. Okay, what else do we have here? Some other purchases. I got, seems like I'm missing something. No. So I've got some more linen. I love Stitch Me's One More Reproduction linen. Love that color. It's great for samplers. So I got that from Farm Girl Dry Goods. I think I got the Janet Buckley. Yes, I got the Janet Buckley sampler from Farm Girl Dry Goods along with that piece of linen, and I purchased a piece of her hand-dyed linen, Michelle. This is her La Mancha, and it is a great color. 36, both pieces are 36. So that was a new acquisition. It smells good. And from Hollis Hands Create, I bought 36 count sandcastle from Fox and Rabbit. And this came from Hobby House. This is Tabby Cat Linens, 36 count down the rabbit hole linen. And it is more like a, kind of like a gingerbready color. Reminds me of that. So those were my linen purchases, which I'm counting as my April, my own April fabrics of the month that I choose. Okay. What else do we have here? Let's go to whips. The 25th of the month, I am stitching Prairie Schooler Santas. And this time I stitched the 1985 Santa. Uh-oh, I'm losing all my stuff. And let me see if I can find that booklet. I purchased a bunch of the Santas Revisited. Shoot, I think I put it back. I'll try to do this quickly. There it is. So the 1985 Santa. And I used, now the last few that I have completed, I stitched on XJU's Bunny Mom. And I purchased some more of that, and it did not even match, closely, remotely match the piece that I had. So these are my past finishes. And this is the 36 count XJU Bunny Mom. And I love this piece, really love this piece. The other piece that I got to hopefully stitch more on, it was a lot different and didn't even closely match this at all. So I pulled out a 36 count. Oh, where did it go? I lost my tag. It's an R&R. I think it is Winter Brew. Next time I'll be better situated, hopefully, to tell you what this is. I think this, I know it's 36 count. I know it's R&R. This may be Winter's Brew. But anyway, there's my Santa dude. Look at how long his beard is. I love this one. He's really very primitive looking. I have some wooden cutout Santas that are painted, and they're styled similar shape and look as this Santa. Now the bag has a design within it, and you were supposed to stitch that space, those open spaces that you see there, supposed to be stitched in red, but it kind of got lost within that green, so I left those spaces blank. There's no stitching in those areas. And I put the date that I stitched it right down there between his boots. So I love that one. This makes how many now? 5? Yep, I have 5 complete. And we're trucking right along. That is fun. They don't take, they really don't take that long to stitch. And right now, I'm trying to choose ones that are pretty simple, not a whole lot of detail. I do not know what I will choose the next month for April's, but I have plenty of options, so there's that. Running out of room. All right, then I decided I wanted to stitch a Halloween piece. Typically, I stitch in season or just right ahead of the season so that I can finish things up and display them, but that's not worked out so well because I have so many things that I want to stitch, seasonal items that I want to stitch, even samplers, but mostly seasonal items that I want to get done. And if I don't do them now, I'm not going to have them as many finished to display in the season. Anyway, what I'm talking about is I started Pumpkin Patch from the Prairie Schooler, and I started this, the little one. I love their Halloween. I don't know that I will stitch this larger one. If I do, it will be way later on, but I definitely liked this smaller piece. Prairie Schooler is very vintage Halloween to me. Growing up, my mother had all kinds of that, you know, like in the late 60s, early 70s, they had it may even been some that she'd grown up with like in the 50s, I don't know, but they just were like cutouts that she would hang in the window that looked like that black cat and the pumpkin, and they just remind me of my childhood. And I just love them. So the one that I chose, again, was that small one. What is this? This is a piece of dark cobblestone 36 count Zweigart. And that's what I got finished. Then after I finished him, he's pretty tiny. I'm going to say he might be close to 2 inches square on this 36 count. And after I got him finished, then I started the next square, which I think is the witch on her broom. Yeah. I'm thinking about stitching all these separately and making some small Halloween ornaments. I do have a wool tree that they would fit on because they're so small. So I can't make up my mind yet what I'm going to do, but anyway, I got one done, and I love that cute owl. And I really like it on this dark cobblestone by Zweigart. So classic, so much fun. And I did stitch that with all of the called for flosses. So, cute, cute, cute. All right. Then somewhere along the lines in the month, I stitched on Grace Bridges by Stacy Nash. I have had this chart for many, many years. I've loved this for so long. Saw this stitched and displayed in one of Bridget Swindle's Primitive Passion home tour features, and loved it even more. And then that's what made me decide I'm just gonna go ahead and stitch it. So this time around, I got the house is all done now. All the windows are in, all the mullions or pane dividers are in, the doors are all stitched, so everything is done on that house. I got the big red peacock in, and I love that. I did change my colors on this peacock, so it's not on the tail feathers. I didn't stitch it as Stacy charted it with those same colors. And now I'm working on this motif here. Still haven't finished this peacock body, but that's what I have. Moving along. This is a big sampler. I had kind of decided I wouldn't be stitching any more large ones, mostly because I don't know where I'm going to put them. My house is small, and I have wall space, but I have a lot of big furniture pieces, as you can see here. And I just don't have a whole lot of wall space for hanging these really large samplers. But this, I have a particular place in mind that I believe it's going to work. I hope that it does. And we'll see. We'll see. Famous last words. I don't make plans because I don't keep plans as far as my stitching goes. And I'll decide to do something and it doesn't happen that way. So who knows what I'll do. Okay. That is all that I have stitched this past, what's it been? Has it been 4 weeks? I don't think so. Now I'm going to show you some past spring, what I kind of consider. Some of these may not be springy to you, but most of them I think are past spring stitching finishes. The first one here on the pile is from Scattered Seed Samplers, Pure in Heart. I love this. And I can't tell you now what I stitched this on. I need to write down. I need to go back and write down, put a little note inside the patterns, what I've stitched these on. And that is my little pillow finish. This always hangs on my pie safe here in my dining room. I used that little gizmo thing there is really for use for jewelry, but I thought it would work. It works just fine for attaching to the pillow and then tying the ribbon on. And I have a little flower charm there on that end. So sweet. Just a little ribbon. I kind of twisted it, tied one in and then twisted it, and then I tied it on the other end. And it's backed with, I think that's Joe Morton fabric from one of her lines. Love her fabric. And we're gonna miss for future fabric designing and releasing. So I buy as much as I can when I find it. All right, that's that one. I didn't pull that one, and I didn't pull this one. Maybe I'll go get those after we're done. Okay, next two. These are also from Scattered Seed Samplers. We have Spring Delivery and Spring Gathering. I stitched these a couple years ago. They're so cute. And don't know what I stitched them on because I didn't put that in here either. And here are the finishes. These are not in frames right now. Normally, I have them framed in one of these unfinished wood frames that I get from Hobby Lobby. And I will paint them black, and then I will sand off the edges and make it look more worn. And then I will go over with brown shoe polish to kind of darken up the edges. And I just bought several of these and keep them on hand. But evidently, the frames that I'd had these in last year, I took these out and I've used them somewhere else in the house. I'll swap things out of their frames to keep storage a little more convenient and easier to manage, so I don't have a bunch of frames to stack up and store. It's easier just to frame or store these, you know, a single piece of fabric and keep it in a little bag. But that's why these aren't frames, so I need to paint up a couple more frames and get these displayed. These are some of my favorite Easter pieces. So sweet. So sweet. Scattered Seed Samplers. Okay, now, let's talk about what's behind me. This piece is from Country Rustic. I don't remember what it's called. Country Rustic Primitives on Etsy. Jenny Hoffman. Sweet little bunny with this wheelbarrow and chicks. This was stitched on 32 count white linen, and then I coffee dyed it. I stitched this several years ago. So that's that. Last video I talked about Not Forgotten Farms right here, Rabbit Folk. Love that. This is another Scattered Seed Samplers. It may be called Spring Messenger. I love this. I like to display it with this little robin handmade bird. And if I remember, I will try to go back and find. I know I got it from an Etsy shop, and I will try to link it below in case you're interested. But it's so sweet. It looks really cute with this as a display. So this is Spring Delivery, Spring Messenger. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, by Scattered Seed Samplers. Love that. And it is backed with this fabric. So that is my little spring display up here on the buffet. And let's see. Next here is Stacy Nash's Spring Hair Standing Pin Keep. Love that. Love that rabbit. Oh, thought of something else I should have gotten, but I didn't. This I stitched, was it 2 years ago? Here's my finish. I love this. So sweet. I wish now, this was the very first stand-up that I've ever done, and I could have packed it even tighter, but live and learn. Love it. So cute. Let's see, where can we put it? Where you can see it. And so here's Scattered Seeds, Spring Messenger. Yep, that's the pattern for this one right here. Love it. This was really fun to stitch. It was, you know how you just kind of, everything clicks and it just is an easy stitch path, and I don't know. It was just a fun little stitch. Okay, next. Oh, here's some more market haul. I did go ahead and buy this, the Prairie Schooler Santa, and I'll add him to my bag. That was another market purchase. This is, I'm pretty sure this is a Tina Waltman design. And Tina Waltman is selling her patterns again, as we've talked about a few times now in the past, but you can find her on Facebook. She sells, you have to contact her through Facebook, and she has albums set up of all the charts that she's selling, that she has designed. And you have to contact her through her email, which is all this information is included on Facebook, or you can also find her on Instagram. And you'll have to go there to get the email address and look at all of her designs and choose what you want, and then email her to request your purchase. So once again, this, I'm pretty sure, is Tina Waltman's. I stitched this on, I think this was probably 32 count white linen, and then I coffee dyed it. And it's just backed with checked homespun. Very primitive. There's that. Now, the next, well, this one, this is my design. It is in my Etsy shop if you're interested. Hopping down the bunny trail. And I stitched this on white linen, coffee dyed after, backed it with this kind of a muted gray fabric. And I think this is Lady Dot Creates chenille, and added it on the edge because I thought it looked like bunny, fluffy bunny tails. So there's that. And oftentimes I'll display them with these little felt carrots that I made. Just took a piece of felt and I stitched lines in it to kind of give grooves like what's in a carrot. Stitched up the sides roughly, stuffed them, put some Sweet Annie in, and then just tied them off with thread. And lots of times I will put these together. So there's that. And these next three, I'm pretty sure, are from Primitive Stitchin' on Etsy. And I don't remember the names of them, and I don't have the pattern covers. I don't know why. But I think this is called a tisket, a tasket. And I'm pretty sure I changed the color of my Easter eggs. I may have changed all the colors. I don't remember. Tisket, a tasket. Eggs for my basket. Sweet. This one, I don't remember the name of this one either. Pretty sure it's primitive stitching. And I've just included some black glass head stripe pins there. This was a piece of wool that I stitched up to make it look like a carrot. I tied it off with jute and frayed it to make it look like the stems of the carrot. And then I just attached it with a bulb pen. I'm trying to get it where you can see it. Don't know if you can. There. Anyway, this I'm sure was 32 count white linen stitched and then coffee dyed. Sweet. These would be cute too if you just wanted to stitch just the bunnies and the carrot. Cute. And this is primitive stitching. I don't remember the name of it. Love this. This is on a 36 count, maybe summer khaki. And I don't believe I changed any colors. But I just turned the edges under, folded the edges under, and roughly stitched, like cross-stitched the piece onto the fabric. And this has, it's hard to tell, but it's got blues in it, navy blue and a light blue that matches these colors. I love this. So simple and sweet. Okay, let's put all these back so we don't have such a mess. I don't know if I can show you this, but I've got all of those in this big basket. But I've got some wool in and some wool carders. So that's what's in that basket. Now, the next basket are my blue stitches. And I have them in here. So, first one on top. This is a freebie. And it's a portion of a freebie. I think it's designed where there's like 3 other little rabbits off to the one side. 3 additional rabbits, like bing, bing, bing. And I think this is a Primitive Betty's. And I may have gotten this from the freebie pattern. May have come from her blog, or it might have come from Prim Stitcher Society on Facebook. And I just stitched just the central flower and the 2 bunnies. This is Purple Paper Mountain trim, her chenille trim. Don't know what color that's called. I did leave the excess little streamers hanging here. And then just added a button, a bulb pin with a button or 2 from my grandma's stash. And that's the backing that I chose. This was on 32 white linen, coffee dyed. This is from Priscilla's Pocket. There was a series of these. I stitched some of these and sold them in the past when I was stitching for other people. There's a couple series of these, but these remind me of like the salt glazed Crocs. Some of the designs that you might see on those old antique Crocs. But that is one that I did keep for myself. And it is backed with that fabric. This is my design, which is in my Etsy shop, and it's called Our Nest, all done in blue. That is, once again, Lady Dot Create, no. Purple Paper Mountain chenille trim. And it is also backed in the fabric. Our Nest. And then this last little guy is, I used a filet crochet pattern. Yeah. And I just, those filet crochet, I've talked about this in the past. Filet crochet patterns are similar designs, like the pattern is, to our cross stitch patterns. And wherever there may be on the pattern chart a mark, that would be where you would stitch a single crochet or a double crochet or whatever. So they're, like I said, they're set up and designed similar to our cross stitch design charts. And I just love that style of bunny and decided to stitch it. I don't know what I stitched this on. This might be, that looks like Vintage Country Mocha. And I backed it, this fabric. This is personalized iron-on sticker emblem from Ever Emblems. And I can't find them. When I changed out my when I thought I was going to make my spare bedroom into my sewing room, and then didn't do it, and then everything got overhauled, I misplaced my labels. But they're personalized. So you can get those on Ever Emblem on Etsy. And these little buttons are from my grandma's button stash, and I don't remember now. Last year I shared that I think it was last year that I stitched this and fully finished, and shared where I got these little like daffodil pens, counting pens. They're so sweet. So that's all that's in my blue stitching basket. I have some angel hair vine in the bottom of this basket to it's kind of nice to use. It comes all wound up in a bundle, and I just kind of fluff it up, and you can really, it's nice for propping your pillows in, because you can kind of nestle it down in there and it'll hold them up better, but hard to show at this moment. But it works well for propping up your pillows. So those are my blue springtime stitches. And I keep that basket on that chair. Try to keep my kitty cat out of that chair. Let's see. I think that's everything. Wow, we're up to 45 minutes. Let's see. What am I going to be doing next? Kind of thinking about some patriotic Americana stitching, and really kind of, I want to get to these guys. I think they would look cute here on this feather tree. Well, it's not really a feather tree, but it kind of looks like a feather tree. So I might stitch up some of those to add there for the Americana season stitching. So I might do that. I'll keep on with my Grace Bridges because I do want to get that finished and in her place. I need to paint a couple of these little frames to get these bunnies in. And what else? It's getting warmer, so I need to be working in my flower beds and cleaning them out. So my stitching time might get paused for a little bit, but not long. Well, there's the phone, so that's the clue. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by and spending a few minutes with me. I appreciate everyone, and I will see you next time.